Them birds gonna fly, you already know. Brains sleep the slow, Eagles train to go.
All right, let's talk about it. Detroit Lions at Philadelphia Eagles, Week 11. First two Eagles plays started with two Saquon Barkley runs that were failed runs, leaving the Eagles in a 3rd and 10 position to start the game. A.J. Brown made a nice catch with Jalen Hurts converting on the 3rd and 10, and that was a good way to start the game, but the Eagles eventually had to punt the ball because the drive stalled out. On the next play, Jared Goff threw the ball and J.D. batted it, and they just happened to go up instead of getting batted down. And Cooper DeJean, being in the right spot, saw the ball. It was hanging in the air for a second. He got right under it and scooped it up. Got a few yards after that, and it was a nice interception to start the game. That deflection was just 1 of 3 for Jordan Davis for the day. It's risky doing plays like that too, because jumping up with all that weight, he ended up getting put on his pockets. But he put in that work for the team, and Cooper DeJean was able to scoop it up for an interception. Offense ended up stalling out, putting the Eagles in a 4th and 6 position with Jake Elliott making a 27-yard field goal, putting the game at 3-0 Eagles. On the next Lions drive, Jalen Phillips got a sack on Jared Goff, made a nice move and had an easy pursuit of him, because Jared Goff is not really moving around much, and even though he tried to get away, he still got caught. Detroit going for it on a 4th and 1. Moro Ojomo stops Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield right at the line. Moro Ojomo been very impactful lately, and that's just one of the plays right there. Eagles offense still not converting, not doing anything, giving Detroit the ball back. After the Lions get the ball, their offense is not doing much of anything either, and they end up in a 4th and 2 position that they end up faking the punt. The 4th and 2 attempt was failed. On a big 3rd and 11, Jalen Hurts ended up converting with his legs on the design QB run that went for 12 yards. On that play, he followed his blocker, just like the design run from last week, and this time was able to get the first down. On a 3rd and 15 play on the same drive, A.J. Brown was able to make a reception, setting up Jake Elliott for a 34-yard field goal, making the game 6-0 Eagles. When the Lions got the ball back, the Eagles defense ended up falling for 2 play-action plays back-to-back from the Detroit 25-yard line, leading to a touchdown. Goff to St. Brown for 34 yards. Then on the next play, Goff to Jameson Williams for 40 yards from the right side of the field on a crosser going all the way to the left side of the field that Jameson was able to take for a touchdown. But with being undisciplined, this guy, I'm not sure what's going on with his mental, but he ended up doing whatever this is. He was hit with a 15-yard penalty for that, and they added it to the extra point kick. It was a very cold night and a very windy night in Philadelphia, and the kicker did not make the extra point, leaving the game 6-6 tied up. On the Eagles' only touchdown drive of the game, A.J. Brown on that drive had a nice 9-yard reception, and Dotson had a great first down catch. Bigsby had an 18-yard run after Saquon took a break. Bigsby had an 18-yard run setting up an A.J. slant. Saquon Barkley had a run that almost went for the touchdown, but it was short. The Eagles did a brotherly shove to get the first touchdown of the game for them, making the game 13-6 by halftime. Despite moving the ball, the Lions failed to convert on a 4th and 5 on the Philly 30. But the Eagles offense wasn't doing much of anything and ended up punting the ball as well. Jahmyr Gibbs on the screen puts the Lions in great field position, putting them in the 4th and goal that they failed to convert. Jared Goff tried to go to Amon-Ra St. Brown in the back of the end zone, with Dory Jackson covering him and having him blanketed up. Even though the Eagles defense made a great stop on the goal line, the Eagles offense started off in a compromising position to start the drive. Jalen Hurts was able to find Jahan Dotson for a big catch while coming out of his own end zone, because the Eagles started the drive on the 4-yard line. Great reception by Dotson, even taking a big shot after the catch. When the Eagles reached midfield, Jalen Hurts was sacked and the Eagles had to punt the ball. Jared Goff was struggling but still managing to produce some offense, always ending up in a fourth down position. In a 4th and 3 situation, Dan Campbell decides to go for it with 1:13 left in the third quarter. It was another failed fourth down conversion. On a crucial 3rd and 6 play, Jalen Hurts was able to pick up the play with his legs, running for the first down. On the same drive, A.J. Brown caught a slant that set up Jake Elliott for a 49-yard field goal attempt. With the game now 16-6, the Eagles end up with the ball after the Lions failed to move the ball again. The Lions were able to stop the brotherly shove 3 different times in the game, twice in a row, and one for a fourth down. The Lions were able to manage a 54-yard field goal with about 2 minutes left in the game, making the game 16-9. A 9-yard Saquon Barkley run on 3rd and 8 effectively ended the game with Jalen Hurts taking a knee. Final 16-9, Eagles win the game. Takeaways from the game. It was a defensive game on both sides. Kudos to both defenses. And it's that time of the season that if you have any type of defense, you're still in it. And if you have a decent record, you're still in it. The Lions defense was able to stifle the Eagles. They were one of the teams that didn't vote to ban the brotherly shove, and they were able to stop it. So kudos to them for that. They ultimately stopped the Eagles, bottled up Saquon, didn't get the receivers going too much. But the Eagles defense flustered Jared Goff. He was uncomfortable all night. If he was a running quarterback, he would have been running for his life, but he wasn't running at all, so he was just standing in the pocket trying to go through it, getting decapitated sometimes. The weather was definitely a factor in the game. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter having 5 batted passes, that was huge in this game. And it's a big deal to get active in the game like that too. It's not always about sacks. Lane Johnson is injured right now. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks, it's been said. Has a foot injury. And, I wish he didn't come back for this game. I felt like it was a bit rushed from him having the knee injury last week. And he shouldn't be rushed back at all for the rest of this season right here. Fred Johnson needs to be coached up to do what he needs to do to help the run offense. But Lane Johnson shouldn't be rushed back at all. He just needs to do what he needs to do to get right. Cam Jurgens is also injured right now. He left the game early. Not sure what's going on with him. Talking about mishaps, there were some things that the Lions did in this game that, in my opinion, if it was the Eagles that has some of those things exhibited, there'll be opinions about it from a lot of people. And one of the things that stood out was Jameson Williams' celebration after he scored his touchdown. For him to not care and kind of just, after the kicker missed the extra point, he threw his hands in the air kind of like it was nonsense from the other people, but he was the one that did it. That's just humorous, man. And Dan Campbell not taking the points. That was kind of something that Nick Sirianni was doing earlier in his Eagle career, not taking the points. And when you get to a certain point of the season, you got to take the points. When you're playing certain games, you got to take the points. When it's certain weather, you got to take the points. But to not take the points when you're the away team just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand that. Going for it on 4th down 5 different times, and each of those times had different implications. You could have either took the points or kick it away and give good field position to your defense that's been playing well all night. Dan Campbell made a mistake there, and he's not feeling enough of the heat from it. On the offensive false start that was called on Tyler Steen, it's obvious what happened. The defensive player was across the neutral zone, and Tyler Steen was trying to get the attention of the officials by letting them know. Instead, they called the false start on him, and that just doesn't make any sense at all. Dotson was big time this game. This is exactly how you're supposed to use a wide receiver 3. Had a few big catches in this game at crucial points in the game too. Jalen Hurts had some big misses in this game. Some of them was due to DB play. Some of it was due to maybe weather and wind, but some of them were just bad throws and, got to do better in certain situations. But nothing too bad, nothing too forced. Completed 50% of the passes and had just as many completions as the losing quarterback that had double the yards. Speaking of Jared Two Gloves, I knew the game was over when it started as soon as I saw him wearing two gloves. I just knew it. I know it's cold in Philly, but it's only November, man. If that's how he's going to do November, it's not going to work out if you don't play in Detroit in that dome. So final thoughts. The Eagles' defense right now is the identity of the team, and I'm okay with that. I said a lot of weeks ago that I trust the defense moving forward. I'm not sure what game I said that after, but it was after one of the games that they had to save the day. So I trust the defense moving forward, and that was before they even got as good as they are now. They have Nakobe Dean, they have Jalen Phillips, they have Nolan Smith Jr. back, and, that just matters. You have BG back in the building. I hope the one thing that the Lions game showed anybody is that defense right now is what's going to win anything for your team. You have teams that are number 1 and number 2 in offense, but if you're not doing well in defense, it's not going to do anything for you. The Lions have a number 2 offense, and their defense was playing great last night, and they still went through what they went through. So at the end of the day, I feel like the defense is only going to keep getting better, and the offense still has a chance to get better. Even though they're stuck in the mud right now, still have the players that they have on that side starting to figure certain things out. And I feel like it's going to ultimately work out. So it's going to be hard to face the Eagles at home with that defense, and that defense is also traveling. So right now, the offense is going to get better soon. I trust the coaches to eventually figure out what they need to do. I feel like the Eagles are hiding plays right now. They're not going to let anybody know that, but they're hiding plays for the playoffs and bigger games. Right now, they're first seed in the NFC. The Rams are second seed, and that can change any week, even though the Eagles have the win over them. At the end of the day, the Eagles are worried about the playoffs. So right now, they're going to play in a conservative manner to get through the season. And I have a good feeling that everything is going to be all right in the playoffs with the defense playing like this. On to Dallas. Go Birds.
Them birds gon' fly, you already know. Brains to the snow, Eagles train to go. Say what you want about a cute big coach, but all they do is whip, put your feet on your throat. Line hunts, secondary, no fly zone. When you leave the link, it's a long flight home. Them birds gon' fly, you already know. Brains to the snow, Eagles train to go.